India ranks first in the world's mango production, accounting for about 50% of the world's production. Mango is well adapted to tropical and subtropical climatic conditions. With spacing of 9 meters into 9 meters, one can have 50 mango trees per acre. With spacing of 10 meters into 10 meters, one can have 40 mango trees per acre. With spacing of 12 meters into 12 meters, one can have 32 mango trees per acre. Plant nutrition is an important aspect for enhancing mango productivity. 730 grams of nitrogen, 180 grams of phosphorus, and 680 grams of potash has to be applied per plant per year when the plants are 10 years and above age. Usually, we recommend 40 to 50 kg FIM per plant per year. The fertilizer can be applied in 2 split under rain-fed conditions. The first split of half nitrogen and full phosphorus, half potash, can be given with the onset of monsoon, that is during June-July. And the second dose can be given during October, the onset of northeast monsoon.
Many mango farms in Ghana look like this. Trees above 6 meters height, dense canopies, and large trunks. But more and more farms come up with a completely different look. Small trees, almost bushes with open canopies. These kind of trees are the result of skillful pruning. In this video, we want to find out about the rationale behind this type of canopy management. Why to prune? The idea behind small mango trees. Pruning is the selective removal of certain parts of a tree in order to improve its health as well as quality and quantity of fruits. But what is it really all about? What are the actual benefits of pruning for a mango farmer? For this inquiry, we are going to compare experiences from 2 very different kinds of farms.
We leave the tree just to go because we need a bigger tree to get plenty mango.
Simon Kwao is an experienced mango farmer in the eastern region of Ghana. His farm looks just like many others in the region. Tall trees, thick canopies.
When the canopy is big, we may have enough fruits. Probably when you cut it more, it's likely you're not going to have volume of the fruit on that tree for the next season.
The big tree doesn't really give more fruits as compared to the small tree. That is the perception that most farmers have. They think that if I have a very big tree, big canopy, I am able to get like 400 fruits per tree, and so I'm getting more yield. That is not true. This is one of our demonstration farms that we try to do on canopy control and high density. What we try to demonstrate here is to keep the canopy small and increase the tree density on the farm.
These are the 2 farms we want to compare. Mr. Kwao's traditional large tree setup versus the demonstration farm looked after by agronomist Komayere. The first topic we are going to look at is disease control. Being able to protect your trees against pests and diseases is crucial for your success as a mango farmer.
Now the anthracnose is our problem now because we can't get quality fruits due to anthracnose. When we go to the factory once, they told us there's a lot of anthracnose on the fruit, so we have to send it to the local market. And the local market, we can't get what we are going to get from the factory. The factory is giving us 1 cedi per kilo. The market can give us about 50% per kilo. That's 50%.
If the tree is very dense, especially disease like anthracnose will drive very well on a very dense tree than an open tree.
Fungal diseases like anthracnose flourish in humid conditions. After rainfall, dense canopies take a long time to dry up. This is the time fungal diseases take hold and spread on your farm. Prune trees have an open space in the center of their canopy. It allows sunlight and air in, which dry up the canopy quickly. Such conditions make it hard for fungal diseases to get into your farm.
Like this tree, all these dead roots contributed to anthracnose. So when, as a farmer, you can go by tree, you just take this dead one out.
Scouting the orchard is the first step for effective disease control. You need to know what kind of problems you are dealing with and where they are located to be able to apply right measures against them. Mr. Kwau's huge trees make proper scouting very difficult. On a pruned farm, the same exercise turns out much easier.
The farmer can look through the tree, look inside the tree, and he can easily see any pest and disease that may be hidden in the tree.
Spraying fungicides is another important weapon in the fight against diseases. Again, the work turns out easier on pruned trees. Their small size allows it to easily cover the canopy from top to bottom without wasting any fungicide. For Mr. Kwao, the height of his trees makes spraying very difficult. Covering a tree of 6-meter height correctly with fungicide is almost an impossible task.
Sometimes you can spray, the chemical can enter, but because the diseases are so dense, you can't kill all the disease or the bacteria inside.
Fungicides only work effective if the whole tree is covered with spray. Uncovered spots are an open door for airborne diseases. They will attack right there and create infectious points. The next rain will then distribute the disease all over your tree.
On the demonstration farm, because we have been able to control the canopy, it makes chemical application very efficient compared to the big tree that you may not be able to reach all parts of the tree with the chemical. So we actually, if you look at the trees, you see that they are very healthy. We don't have any disease or pest problem on the demonstration plot. You will not even see anthracnose or mealybugs on the leaves of those trees because chemical application on those trees has been very effective and efficient.
Low efficiency of spraying adds up to the problems in disease control on big trees. On pruned trees, all unnecessary wood is removed, so you need much less of expensive fungicides to cover them. Also, because of their size, you can move the nozzle of your spraying device close to the tree. Every drop of spray is applied effectively. On big trees, on the other hand, a good amount of your chemicals is wasted on unproductive parts. When spraying to greater heights, wind will blow off much of the fungicides before they reach the parts you want to cover.
With on pruned tree, you actually spend a lot. The amount of chemicals you need to spray on an pruned tree, I think it's always 3 times the amount of chemicals you probably need to spray on a pruned tree. Because much of your chemical actually just goes waste.
The next topic of comparison is flower production. It is a critical task for every farmer to ensure his trees produce enough flowers at the right time. Flowers later on produce their precious fruits. To be able to ensure good yields at your farm, you have to be able to control the development of flowers on your trees.
So for our trees, the objective is that to have more lateral shoots because we all know that the flower and the fruits come from the lateral shoots. I go through the tree. This is a flower panicle that the flower died off. So what I can do is to cut it from here. Cut this one off. It's useless. It doesn't have anything to do. It's also a source of anthracnose for the tree. So I cut out everything that seems unproductive.
The agronomist denies the tree to waste its resources on unproductive leaves and branches. Instead, he wants the tree to use all its energy on the production of good and healthy fruits. By cutting back lateral branches, he induces growth of fresh shoots. These shoots are likely to produce a great number of flowers in the upcoming season. This work is called tipping. It is done every year immediately after harvest. By tipping all branches at once, Mr. Komayere also ensures that all of his flowers will come at the same time. On Mr. Kwau's trees, flower-bearing branches all develop at their own time. His control over flower growth is very limited. he tries to apply chemicals such as potassium nitrate or nutribles to induce flowering on his trees, but too often it does not properly work for him.
This tree we have applied potassium nitrate, that is 2 times for flower induction, but still we can have the flower coming.
A prune tree that is tipped has its lateral branches almost at the same age. On prune trees, you always see that there are some shoots that are young, some are old. And so yes, we both may use the potassium nitrate, the nutriball, but I will get 90 to 100% flowering, and the unpruned tree will probably get 30 to 50% flowering because the shoots are not of the same age.
Our next topic is profitability.
We can get about that's almost about 200 to 300 fruits on a tree.
We should expect about 150 fruits per tree.
Potentially, one big tree can produce more fruits than one small tree. This is the major reason why many farmers hesitate to start with pruning. But let's have a closer look. Are more fruits on one tree actually what a farmer should go for?
We wouldn't want to get more than 150 fruits because we need to keep the size of the fruit also bigger. When they become too plenty on the tree, the sizes are very small.
Michael Mawusime is head of the quality department of the fruit processing company, HPW. In his day-to-day work, he gets to see many mangoes of different sizes and quality.
The effect of pruning on the fruit helps with the yield that the farmer should get. You can have a lot of flowers on the mango tree, but if you get a tree that is well pruned, the sizes, average sizes you get from the tree will be much bigger than from a tree that is not pruned.
At the end of the day, the processing company pays per weight, not by number of mangoes. Apart from that, the important question to ask is not how many fruits can I get on one tree, but rather how much yield can I get per acre of farmland. Mr. Kwao planted his farm with a spacing of 10 meter by 10 meter, which is the common practice in Ghana. The demonstration farm of Mr. Komayere in turn is planted with a higher tree density of 5 meter by 5 meter. This allows 4 times as many trees within the same space. So even if one of Mr. Kwao's trees will actually give him more fruits than one pruned tree, 4 pruned trees will definitely outperform one big old tree.
An acre can give me about 4 tons.
We are expecting not less than 12 tons per acre.
Apart from producing a higher yield in one particular season, prune farms have more advantages in their productivity. In this graph, you see the development of yield per acre over time. The yellow line shows the typical performance of a big tree farm, and the green line, the performance of a pruned farm. In the first few years, it takes a bit longer before the pruned farm starts to produce good yields. But from the 5th year onwards, the yield overtakes the unpruned farm. From this point on, we can observe the 3 typical advantages of pruned farms. 1. Yield is generally higher. 2. The production is more stable and there are not so many ups and downs of good seasons and bad seasons. 3. And this is very important, the farm stays productive for a much longer period of time. Within 25 years, a pruned farm produces at least twice the amount of fruits compared to an unpruned farm. Twice as much yield means the farmer has doubled his income. The way fruits are harvested also plays an important role for their market value. Once again, Mr. Kwao is facing hardship because of the height of his trees.
We do harvesting with our hands. We let the young ones climb the tree and we collect it down. But that one gives us a lot of costs. And sometimes the guy can go to the tree and it fell down.
To avoid these kinds of accidents, Mr. Kwao is now using a long stick to pluck fruits from his trees. Unfortunately for him, this practice heavily reduces the value of his fruits.
From here, very soft and juicy, and here, very firm. So this is what happens, and it's because the fruit is big and it drops this way. This side hits the floor, and so you get that force pushing this part of the fruit So by the time the whole fruit is ready for processing, half of it is already rotten and cannot be used, would have to be cut off. This is not good for both the factory and the farmer. It's not good for any of us. So if we can manage the harvesting better by having a sizable prune trees, then harvesting and handling of fruits will be much easier, and all these problems could be avoided, because this contributes to about 5 to 10% of rejects that we get out of the factory.
Fruit quality is very important for the market value of your mangoes. Exporters or fruit processing companies will take your fruits only if they meet certain quality standards.
When we are now getting to the factory, that is the processors, they normally complain that we have an internal crack. So now things are changing. We have to adopt that of the factory so that we can produce good quality to the factory.
With the prune tree, you have better quality that you can either go for export or you go for processing market. With the unpruned tree, your quality is always not good enough. And so you get exporters will not come to your farm, and even processors may also want to take your fruits if they have the option of better quality fruits elsewhere.
100%. I'll recommend it to every farmer to prune their trees well.
Let us run through the major advantages of pruning once again. Disease control. An open canopy is less likely to get affected by fungal diseases. Scouting and spraying can easily be done from the ground. Less fungicide is needed to effectively cover the whole tree. Flower production. Pruning is done in such a way that a tree can use all its energy to produce fruits instead of leaves or wood. With lateral branches maturing at the same time, the tree responds better to chemical flower induction. Profitability. Pruning gives you the ability to influence the size of your fruits. You can plant more trees in the same space. Yield is generally higher, more stable over the years, and your farm will stay productive for a much longer period of time. You can harvest easier without damaging fruits. Last but not least, the quality of your fruits is better, which enables you to sell at better conditions to fruit processing companies or even the export market.
The mango industry in Ghana is still very young, and we are still learning. If you go to areas, places that the mango industry has been old, they were also into this, the bigger the better is farming system. But now they are all moving into high density, smaller tree system. So we are hoping that with this demonstration, the results will be impressive and farmers will start to adopt the smaller tree, high density system.